For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
This is the Big O Show.
There's many ways to support our program, from subscribing and liking the show to visiting our terrific sponsors. Another way is using Cash App. If you would like to donate to the show and help us grow, download Cash App and search Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. We appreciate your support as we continue to build the best sports show on the planet for South Florida sports fans. Support the Big O Show by using Cash App and donate to Cash Big O Show. Thank you for your incredibly loyal support.
This is the Big O Show.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
This is the Big O Show.
Sports fans love a place with great food, cold drinks, and TVs everywhere. That's why sports fans love Sports Grill and their 7 amazing locations. Check out the Bird Road location at 11481 Southwest 40th Street in the back corner of the West Bird Shopping Center. Sports Grill is also now offering some great employment opportunities. All kinds of positions are now available, from kitchen to hosting. Call for more information at 305-485-8845. From wraps to salads to amazingly delicious specialty dishes, Sports Grill is the home to the legendary special grilled wings. Since 1987, Sports Grill, good food, good drink, and good friends.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All righty. Yes, sir. Welcome aboard on a beautiful Saturday. How y'all doing out there? Hope you all are doing well on a Saturday where the Marlins will continue their series against the Reds. Inter Miami looks for another win in this streak where they've gotten points in 5 of 6 games. And of course, our beloved Miami Dolphins host the Atlanta Falcons at Hard Rock Stadium tonight at 7 o'clock, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Think about this. This is the moment I think that we've all been waiting for. I know Flo doesn't tell us much, right? But we kind of get the feeling that today's the dress rehearsal. So this is the moment to be excited about Dolphin football right now, in the preseason. Here's where hopefully we'll see Tua for a whole half. We'll see the offensive line play together for a long time, and hopefully that experience and making the mistakes and those kind of things over and over again will allow them to get better and get better prepared for the regular season, because we all know, listen, logic tells you they're not going to settle their offensive line until well into the regular season. It's going to take them game-like experience to really gel as a line, if they're going to gel as a line. So there's a lot of things. Will Jalen Phillips make his debut? Will you see more of Jalen Waddle tonight? Right? Last week he didn't get too much into the action, right? There's a lot of things going on in this preseason game that I want to watch, and I'm sure a lot of you want to watch. And that's why tonight is one of those nights where at least I know it's preseason, I know it doesn't count, but for us as the Dolphin Nation, it's part of this process. It's part of watching. This is just an extension of what happened 2 years ago when they tore it down and they had to rebuild the whole thing. Well, then I enjoyed that process. This is part of the process now. And so tonight, while it may not count on the standings because we haven't started the season, it counts for a lot of jobs. It counts for us as fans to see the progress of some of these players, and in a way for some folks to kind of feel a little better about what's coming up. You know what I mean? And I know that that's one of the issues with fans. They want to feel good about their team. You know what I mean? And I think last week, Tua's performance made some people come off the ledge a little bit. Had some people, hey, I won't have to walk over to that bridge and jump off. Not that you should be doing that because of a football team, by the way, but you know what I'm saying? It's just we had people panicking, and I think the panic was calmed down a little bit after watching Tua settle in. I know he threw the interception, but overall that didn't look like the kind of interception that it's going to be a habitual type of thing. I think it's one of those learning moments for Tua, like a lot of this stuff is going to be for everybody. Jalen Waddle's in a learning process. Javon Holland and Jalen Phillips and this offensive line and the young running backs. I mean, there's all kinds of people that are just learning on this team right now. So that's the exciting part for us as fans, is to see what the progress is going with the Dolphins as they head into the regular season. So if this is the dress rehearsal, which I explained yesterday why I thought it was the dress rehearsal, Omar agreed with me also on it. And I think a lot of people are expecting it to be the dress rehearsal, and it only makes sense because last week you scrimmaged against a team and then you played a game. Now you scrimmaged against another team and you're playing the game. I think you're better off now you're getting a lot of football in. I think this behooves you to do the dress rehearsal now, because in that final game next week, a lot of people may be working on the back end of their rosters. And this buys you the extra week just in case somebody gets nicked up at this point. Now, I saw Dan Campbell talk about this a little, was it yesterday at one point, where he was saying, it's kind of a catch-22, and like he wasn't going to play golf probably. And he was like, you want to play some of these guys, you want to get them, but you also don't want to suffer any kind of injuries and all that stuff. So I understand what Dan was talking about. And I think that's the dilemma that all these coaches are going through. You only have 3 games, but you've got the most important one are the 17 that are coming up. So how much do you sacrifice? How much do you risk for development purposes? And if you have veterans, like, some of you out there have been concerned about Devontae Parker. I'm not that concerned about Devontae Parker. As long as he can be healthy in week 1, I don't need to see him in the preseason anymore. I'm not worried about it. And as I told you, as the week went on, for some people, one of the themes of the week is the lack of receivers or lack of starting receivers going to hurt Tua's development. And I would tell you no. If he was a limited quarterback, a game manager type, yeah, then I would worry about it, but not a dude like this. These kind of quarterbacks can adjust to everything that goes on. So I'm not worried about, Tua in that sense. And I'm not worried about Devontae Parker. Maybe Devontae Parker is healthy enough to play. And they're just being, they're just taking precaution right now. Which with Devontae Parker, do you blame them? Right? Albert Wilson, you'd like to get out there because he was having such a great camp that unfortunately now the unreliable label comes up again. You had an injury a couple of years ago. You backed out of the season last year, and now you've got an injury again after starting off a week and a half. You'd like to have him out there. Will Fuller, even though he's not playing week 1, which that means this kid's not going to play for another month now at this point, you'd like to get him out there for practice purposes. But because he has an injury history, and I told you, I think Tua will adjust, and he was already throwing to Fuller in the offseason. But I think the best part about all of this, believe it or not, okay, it's kind of twisted, but if he does have an injury, which I'm sure he does, with Parker, I'm not so sure. I wonder if Parker could play right now if they really needed it. But let's say with Will Fuller, because he has the history, maybe they're being careful with him. And since he's off week 1, it's a matter of make sure he's fully healthy so we could get him into practice. And we'll get him in practice during the weeks leading up to his debut in week 2. So we could get him acclimated with everything going on in Tua. Let's just get him healthy. So I think there's some explanations to what's going on. But at the same time, I love this also because this allows the other receivers to kind of figure things out. Is Robert Foster the real deal? Is Matt Collins the guy that you should give a back-end spot to? The Jakeem Grant development continues, trying to develop him as a wide receiver. You're not trying to develop him as a returner. He's one of the best in the NFL in that. So it's good for Kirk Merritt has been getting some playing time. Good for him. He gets an opportunity to kind of showcase his skills, and he's actually made a little noise. Lynn Bowden Jr. unfortunately suffered the injury, but that was another kid getting some opportunities too. So this opens up the door for other people. But for me personally, this is actually a fun night tonight. Considering it's preseason, and last night, I'm watching some of these preseason games, and it's twisted, but once I get to the second half, I kind of get bored with these games because none of the starters are in. Hell, I'm getting bored in the second quarter. But it's funny, if it's the Dolphins, tonight I'll watch all the way to the end of the fourth quarter. It's weird. But, of course, I'm a Dolphins fan, so I care about the back end of the roster. I don't care about the back end of the Cincinnati Bengals roster. You know what I mean? So it's just one of those things. But it's going to be a lot of fun tonight because there's actually substance behind this game tonight for a lot of people, and at the same time for the peace of mind for some of you as Dolphin fans, right? If the offensive line plays a little better tonight, you're going to feel a little better than you did last week or than you have the last couple of weeks because the offensive line has struggled in a big time way. Just like I think people feel a little better about Tua right now. And that's part of the process. Hopefully Tua tonight goes out there with a terrific performance, no turnovers. And I think people will look at it and go, okay, that's another step forward. Everything looking good with him. Now let's get that offensive line straightened out. That's going to be the key there. Good morning. Hope you all are doing well. Alan Poupar is set to join us in about 5 minutes. We are going to have the Sports Grill Miami Dolphins Insiders Report, so we'll get his thoughts on what's going to happen tonight with the Miami Dolphins. I'll get his feel for if he also thinks it's going to be a dress rehearsal tonight and everything else that he obviously Alan is there at all the practices, so he'll give us the insight on what he sees on an everyday basis. Steve Chapman in the house, number one, and reminding folks to smash the hell out of that like button. And please smash that like button, whether you're listening to the podcast, whether you're watching on YouTube right now, please smash the like button. It is incredibly important that you do that. And it has helped us grow the channel really fast now. So I really, really appreciate it. Isais is in. Arcarillo. Marta also in. She says game day. She's going to the stadium. Fins up. Ed Marti, thank you, sir. Giving us a little love on Venmo. Appreciate you, sir. Very nice. And remember, you can make a donation to the show on Cash App or Venmo. Cash Big O Show is the address. That's Cash Big O Show. Many ways to help us grow. Ian from Brooklyn in at Elep in. Arcarillo says, I know it's preseason, but watching the Washington game last night, it showed a really crappy Ryan Fitzpatrick. And he's not, Ryan can whine all he wants. He's never been the answer at quarterback. He's a bridge. That's it. And Washington has him now as the bridge. And that's fine, dude. I really, in the end, I really feel that Ryan Fitzpatrick needs to change his name to St. Petersburg. Yeah. Because he has more bridges than St. Petersburg. So, that's kind of his thing. All right. We go with Ian from Brooklyn. John Rouse is in the house. David Pridman says, I hope Alan Poupar isn't as down on the O-line as Kelly was. That was a downright disillusioning assessment by Omar Kelly. Yeah, but it might be accurate. It's depressing, but, maybe it's accurate. I mean, I'm not with Omar on practically giving up on these guys and all that. They're really, really young. And as I mentioned throughout the week, which the two factors that I think people aren't taking into the offensive line. One, it's one young guy next to another young guy, 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 or a journeyman in Davis. Nobody does that in the NFL. Nobody brings along that many young men in one line. One or two guys, three is a major project. 4 to 5, that's crazy, dude. So it's going to take you a little longer for all of that. And I want to remind you folks, don't get carried away now. There's like 5 draft picks there. Be honest with yourself now. Are they supposed to hit on all 5? Is it realistic to think that all 5 are going to be successful? That they drafted all 5 and all 5 are going to be plug-in players? Come on, man. 2 or 3 of these are going to fail. Hopefully 2 or 3 are going to make it. That's kind of what's going to happen. You do know that, right? I mean, you are realistic. You're not unrealistic thinking every lineman you draft and every draft pick you pick is going to be successful. So this is all part of the process. I'm trying to figure out who can play, who can, who's going to stick, and who isn't. So those are 2 factors that people aren't taking into account when they're looking at the line. They're just assuming everybody's going to hit. It's going to be a great line and everything's going to work out. And that's just not the way it is. That's not the reality. You're going to have to. There's no way all 5 of them are good. Like I said yesterday, if Chris Greer hit on all 5 of those guys, then give him a 15-year contract extension. Make sure he never leaves here again, because it's impossible pretty much for any GM to draft 5 linemen and all 5 are going to hit. So these are 2 factors that nobody is taking into account. Nobody talks about. Nobody writes about. Nobody says it on television. In fact, I'm the only media member that has actually talked about both of those things. There's more to this story. It's just It's like we assume that everything is supposed to take place, and then we're not expecting some failure, which it's going to happen. Flipside Fishing is in. Thomas Jensen says Jamar Chase had alligator arms last night, scared to catch the ball. Yeah, on the inside one, I saw that. He saw the safety coming. He dropped 3 of them yesterday. Yeah. Rouse Ghoul 01 says LOL Savage. Lamaro Shepard says GM Big O, the excitement in your voice got me pumped for the season. How can you not be excited? It's going to be a great season. Lee Michael Morrison says, good morning from El Rey de los Gringos in Hialeah. Game day, baby. Wearing all the classic Fins gear. There we go. Don't support the beached whale logo. I'm with you. Ed Marti, thank you, sir. Chiming in says, my favorite back last year was Salvan Ahmed. I hope he gets the touches this year. He has some juice to him. He's starting to look like the most dynamic back out of that group, right? And an absolute killer as a receiver. He is turning into one day. Patrick Laird looks at it and says, damn, dude, I excel at this, but this guy's better. I'm screwed. You know, that kind of stuff is going on. Mike No-Go Zone says, what a pleasant surprise to finish working on my yard and to find you doing a live show. Yeah, we're doing Saturdays now. This Saturday we'll swing over to Sundays when we do the pre and the post game show at Sports Grill. But yeah, we're going to give you 6 days a week. It's just we got to do it on Saturdays for now until we get to the regular season, and then we'll swing over to Sundays. Kenneth Sandoval says, morning, Big O, Dolphin fan from here in New Mexico. Love the show and appreciate your knowledge and honesty. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Kenneth. I appreciate you, and on behalf of everybody that works on this show, does an excellent job. We appreciate all of your support out there, and the growth. The quick growth of this show has been absolutely awesome. So we really, really appreciate it. All right, it is time. We're going to talk a little Dolphins football. Give me 30 seconds, and the man, the myth, the legend, that is Alan Poupar, is going to join us when we come back.
There's many ways to support our program, from subscribing and liking the show to visiting our terrific sponsors. Another way is using Cash App. If you would like to donate to the show and help us grow, download Cash App and search Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. We appreciate your support as we continue to build the best sports show on the planet for South Florida sports fans. Support the Big O Show by using Cash App and donate to Cash Big O Show. Thank you for your incredibly loyal support.
All righty, we are ready to rock and roll. You got to, what are you doing there? What picture are you taking? Are you checking your stocks? Alan, what are you doing there? He's got the Spose hat. There you go. There you are. We caught you. You don't hear me? You have your mute or something? What's going on? Uh-oh, look at him. He's confused. He's got his glasses on. He's serious. He's trying to figure out if he's on the air. He's on the air, but he doesn't know that he's on the air. He doesn't say anything. He's kind of confused. We're going to look. We're going to wait. Alan, do you hear us? Alan, do you hear us? He's looking around. I don't think he hears us. I don't think he knows he's on. Alan, you're on. You don't hear anything? All right, let's see. All right, how about now? No? All right, let's see. Let's try to bring him back now. Anything now, Alan? I think you're going to have to reconnect. It's funny as hell because you see him there, right? And he's trying to figure out what's going on. I can't talk. I can't hear anything. You know he's got something muted or something going on there. Are they going to have to tell? Look, say something. He doesn't say anything. But it seems like I hear his mic. Say something. Talk.
I can't hear you. I can't hear a thing you're saying.
Well, I
can
hear
you hear
what
me?
you're saying. Yeah, I hear you.
You can hear me.
Yeah, I hear you. Yes, I hear you. This
I
sounds
can't
like
hear a thing you're saying. Dolphins are playing a game tonight. They're playing the Falcons.
Back in, like in the 70s, you would call Cuba
and you're like screaming, "Hey, can you hear me?" And they sound like they're like more than 90 miles away, something like that. All right, let's do this. Let's reconnect with Alan Poupart. That's what we'll do. Give us a minute here, and we'll get Alan Poupart on.
Sports fans love a place with great food, cold drinks, and TVs everywhere. That's why sports fans love Sports Grill and their 7 amazing locations. Check out the Bird Road location at 11481 Southwest 40th Street in the back corner of the West Bird Shopping Center. Sports Grill is also now offering some great employment opportunities. All kinds of positions are now available from kitchen to hosting. Call for more information at 305-485-8845. From wraps to salads to amazingly delicious specialty dishes, Sports Grill is the home to the legendary special grilled wings. Since 1987, Sports Grill, good food, good drink, and good friends.
This is the Big O Show.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Friday, yes, sir. Let's see. We're trying to get Alan Poupart on. Let's see. Don't you love live radio? It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. We'll have Alan reconnect here in a minute. I tell him restart everything, and who knows? It's computers, man. Sometimes these things are just crazy. Aaron's like, reconnect Alan. Can hear him now. Yeah, it wasn't that we could hear him, because I could tell that even when he wasn't saying anything, you could tell the mic was picking something up, right? And so that's why when he talked, we were able to hear him, but he couldn't hear us, which is the problem. So that's what we've got to fix. So thank you all for being patient. We'll get him on. Hopefully he will join us in a second here, and we will rock and roll and have some fun with Alan here and talk a little Miami Dolphins as we get ready. By the way, Dolphins. Marlins back in action tonight, 6:40. Kids have lost 5 in a row, man. Tough. Zach Thompson, Wade Riley. Nice job by Jazz Chisholm getting the 3-run job yesterday, at least. That was cool. And then tonight, Inter Miami, great opportunity to pick up a win. They've been playing well, and Toronto has played. They're the worst team in the league. Even when Miami was bad, they were worse. So you got a great shot at home to pick up 3 points. Make sure you pick it up against Toronto. So those are a couple of the other things going on locally. By the way, prayers and our thoughts go out to all the folks in the Northeast now. I know they're about to face, what is it, Henri, I think it is, the hurricane. So be careful out there, folks. It's crazy, right? You're looking at all the flash flooding going on everywhere, Arizona, different places. We got the fires out west. We got droughts out west. Man, this is just nuts. And you start looking at all the stuff that was going on in Europe with all the flash flooding all over the place. I mean, flash floods are happening all over the world. It's crazy what's going on. All the different natural disasters that are going on everywhere, and the fires that just don't stop out west, man. I mean, prayers to all the folks that are going through some tough times. While you're hanging out here in South Florida, be grateful, folks. There's a lot of people going through some really tough times all across the world, and it's all stuff that is completely out of their control. All right, we are going to try it again. We're going to get Alan Poupart on now. We are ready to rock and roll. You can hear me now?
I can hear you.
All right, there we go. We are ready for the Sports Grill Miami Dolphins Insider Report. with the one and only Alan Poupart. And, of course, you can see it right there. And if you're listening on the podcast, follow him on Twitter at Poupart NFL. How you doing, my man? You doing all right?
I'm doing better now that I can hear you. Yeah, I'm doing good.
All right. I know he's very CIA-ish with you guys, and he hasn't told us everything, but you're getting the same feeling I am that this is the dress rehearsal game, not next week. What do you think?
I am thinking there could be 2 dress rehearsal games, and if there's going to be one more than the other, I think maybe it would be next week. Because remember, there's a big difference this year, not only in the fact that they've gone from 4 to 3 preseason games, there's also now a bye where you have 2 full weeks before the last preseason game and the regular season game. So that's kind of different as well. So do you really want to go like heavy on your starters today and not play them next Sunday at Cincinnati, and then you will have gone basically 3 weeks before any game action between the last preseason game and the regular season opener? I'm not sure that's totally ideal. So my guess is I think you would see the starters play both tonight and next Sunday against the Bengals.
Okay. All right. I was thinking tonight, the half, and then next week, just a little tweak, a series or 2, and then get them the hell out and then work on the rest of the roster, the back end of the roster and the last couple of spots that you're trying to decide, a wide receiver and corner and offensive line and whatever it is that you're trying to decide on the back end of the roster overall. No, you don't think that, huh? You think it's 2 full dress rehearsals?
I could see that. I could see some mixture of the 2. I think there'll be one game, though. I do believe you'll see the starters play into the third quarter, because that's always been the pattern, where they make some halftime adjustments and see how that works in the third quarter. Maybe that's tonight, but it wouldn't surprise me if that was the last game. Again, it's a whole new deal, and it varies from team to team as well. And this is kind of a different area for us with Brian Flores, because this first year, 2019, it was nothing but unproven young players. And then last year there was no preseason, so we really don't have a feel for how he's going to operate with a team that has a decent number of established veterans. So it's a new experience, and it's not like he's going to tell us anything.
All right. Yeah, well, he's definitely not going to tell you anything. That's for damn sure. That's why we're all sitting here trying to guess what the hell's going on. But I almost felt like you would do the dress rehearsal, because these are the 2 weeks where you practice with teams and then you played, and then that's a lot of work. So now it gives you a couple of weeks of really trying to, get the guys healthy and ready to go for the regular season, and just a little tweaking in that final game. We'll see. That'll be interesting to see what happens tonight. What's your guess? Who starts at left guard? Who starts at right tackle?
Oh, no, based on what we've seen, it's more than a guess. I think it'd be shocking to me if it wasn't Jesse Davis at right tackle and Solomon Kindley at left guard. I mean, Liam Eichenberg was the second team right tackle in the practices against the Falcons. And to me, would make no logical sense for that to happen. And all of a sudden he starts at left guard against the Falcons tonight. So yeah, pretty much you can write it almost in pen. Austin Jackson, Solomon Kindley, Michael Dieter, Robert Hunt, Jesse Davis is your starting offensive line tonight.
What'd you think of the Greg Little move?
I have zero issue with it. I like it. Former second round pick. We didn't pan out with Carolina, but there was a reason he was a second round pick. Maybe he will never pan out. But, I mean, sure. What'd you give up for him? A 2022 seventh round pick? Oh, by the way, it's a conditional pick. Oh, by the way, it's the pick that Tennessee threw in the trade when the Dolphins got Isaiah Wilson for a seventh round pick. So in essence, you basically spent a seventh round pick for Isaiah Wilson and Greg Little. One was a former first round pick. One was a second round pick. Neither of them panned out with their original team. Obviously, there were different reasons. But you go 50-50 on that. It's a great move. And if you wind up striking out on both guys, all it costs you is a seventh round pick. And I'm sorry, I don't get torqued up over losing a seventh round pick to take a shot at a guy like that.
Hell no. I think it's a great move. All upside, no downside from this move. And I would imagine that Greg's going to play a lot in the next two games, right? I mean,
yeah, no question.
right? They're going to put him through the ringer to see, all right, let's see what you got, kid. Let's see if you actually can, help us out and be a rotational player, because that actually would end up becoming a real blessing, because I'm not expecting him to become a starter, but let's just say if he's good enough to be a backup, then all of a sudden you've got some depth there now, in a nice little rotation. You might end up with 4 tackles, and, some of them can move inside and help you out at guard too.
No, correct. They have a lot of guys who are guards/tackles, and right now, one of the guys who's been working as a second-team left tackle is Larnell Coleman, who was a 7th-round pick from this year, who looks the part, but also doesn't look like somebody who's going to be an impact player in the NFL anytime soon, certainly not as a rookie. So if Greg Little can come in and be a guy who gives you an upgrade at that spot, and that's fabulous.
Yeah. Tonight, first of all, your assessment of the line this past week against Atlanta?
I would say it was better than it was against the Bears. Both in joint practices, which I attended in the preseason game. It was spotty at times. That I would say that it was definitely spotty at times, and it's clear that we're looking at a unit that has to be a concern right now, and that's got a ways to go before we can feel confident that it's going to get the job done in the regular season. Paid attention to a couple of one-on-one pass rushing drills, and the one that absolutely jumped out to me was Robert Hunt going up against Grady Jarrett, who's by far the best Atlanta defensive lineman, and he completely stood him up and stoned him. I mean, Jarrett didn't move him in the least, which was very impressive. Greg Little had another one of those one-on-one reps that was very impressive, where, again, the guy looks the part. So
yeah, no, he's a beast, man. He's got, you look at him physically and you're like, this guy was blessed with the talent to play that position. There's no doubt.
Yeah, and he had injury issues with Carolina, and I don't know how much of it, how much that played into the fact that he never really panned out, and he was basically falling to like 4th on the depth chart for the Panthers, and they were kind of looking to move him, that there was no guarantee he's going to make the 53-man roster. So from there in, it's basically, let's get something for him. But again, as I said before, he was a 2nd-round pick for a reason.
And not their 2nd-round pick too. That's the other thing. That's why when it's not your player, then you're quicker to get rid of them, because it's not they don't even blame you for the failure. It's, okay, that was the prior regime. And then I read your article that the kid was injured most of his rookie year, and then last year they brought in a bunch of guys, and so he wasn't getting much playing time anyway. So you can almost argue that Greg Little really hasn't had a true opportunity at proving whether he can or cannot be a full-time player. Like, we can actually say that.
No, we can. And the thing that I always caution this, and I did this last year when so many people were high on Antonio Callaway. Well, there's I wasn't going to mention it, but there's a reason that
I'm not perfect. I never claimed to be perfect.
No, and same here.
I love that move.
No, correct, because again, it was a low-cost move, and the thing is, once in a blue moon, you're going to hit on one of those, and it's going to wind up being a really, really great move. More often than not, we have to be realistic and understand. Again, this is a guy a team basically dumped, so chances are he's not going to pan out. But again, if the price is right, and in this case, again, as we spoke, 2022 7th-round pick, conditional at that, go for it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm with you there. I'm 100% with you on that one. Alan Poupart, of course, joining us. You can follow him on Twitter at Poupart NFL. Catch his work there at Sports Illustrated. Does an excellent job of covering the Dolphins on a daily basis. Of course, he joins us twice a week on Tuesdays and Saturdays. During the regular season, he'll be joining us on Sundays, besides the Tuesday spot. Maybe we'll push you to Wednesday to kind of separate from Sunday to Tuesday. Down the line, because now at least from Tuesday to Saturday, it's a nice gap. But anyway, so we'll have some fun with Alan all year long. He'll join us twice a week for the Sports Grill Miami Dolphins Insider Report. Jalen Phillips, will he play tonight?
Be shocked if he didn't.
Okay.
Tuesday was a walkthrough, and he took part in it, and he was a full participant from what I could tell Wednesday and Thursday. Look, and I'm not really worried about him, even if I don't see him. I think that the kid's got massive, massive potential. I think he's going to be a stud. I want to see him more than anything else for selfish reasons, because I want to see what he could be in the NFL and as a rookie for the Dolphins. But in terms of he needs to play because he needs to learn and all that, I'm not 100% thinking that needs to happen. But my guess is absolutely he will play, and I think you're gonna see. I mean, you want to talk about looking the part. I mean, he's like the dude. Like, not only sounds like Jason Taylor when he talks. Yeah, I mean, close your eyes. He sounds like completely like Jason Taylor, and he kind of is built like him as well. And they're kind of going to use him the same way. Certainly not to suggest he's going to become another Jason Taylor, but I'm very high on the kid's potential.
Right, he has the skill set of Jason Taylor, is what you're saying. That's all. We're not saying he's Jason, but he has the skill set like Jason Taylor. That's what it is. That's all.
Yeah, actually, he's a long, lean guy.
He has more weight than Jason Taylor.
Yeah.
When you think about it, he's actually a bigger guy, because you and I saw Jason Taylor fresh out of Akron, and it was a beanpole that was standing out there at defensive. That's why he actually got nicked up a little bit in his first 2 years. He dealt with a couple of injuries because he wasn't strong enough. His body wasn't there yet to take all the contact and the punishment that goes with that damn position, right?
Oh, no question. Excuse me, no question. And yeah, and again, we're talking like multiple skills of a guy who can rush the passer, can hold up against the run, he can drop back in coverage too if you need him to. And Brian Flores is going to find a whole lot of different ways to use him. So I'm very, very high on the kid's potential.
By the way, I want to mention two things that nobody's really talking about, and just to go back to the offensive line. And I think people have to take into account, fans, media, all of us, and have to be a little realistic. One, they're doing something that nobody does in the NFL. Nobody breaks in 4 to 5 young offensive linemen with a journeyman. You might have 2 or 3 veterans, and you break in 1 or 2 young guys. 3 is excessive. And I don't know if philosophically they thought about what they're trying to do, because it becomes that much harder that the guy looking to the left and to the right is looking at 2 guys that have just as much experience as they do. It's not like if they were standing there and they're next to Pouncey and they're next to Brandon Albert and they're like, hey, can you help me, this and that, and they can guide them, they can hide them a little bit, they can help them. There is no help here, bro, for the 5 guys. There is no guidance for these guys. There's no pro bowler sitting there with 7-10 years of experience telling the young bucks what they've got to do. This makes the challenge of building this line 10 times harder. Agree or disagree on that?
No, I agree with that. But 2 quick points here is, number one is, I think, they went like short-term pains for long-term benefits if they hit on the right guys and the unit can grow together. That's number one. Number 2, the fact that there's so much inexperience and so little in terms of proven talent up front makes you wonder even more why in the hell they felt the need to dump Eric Flowers after 1 year to basically save $2 million in salary cap space. That's, and I'm not saying Eric Flowers is a great player. He's not.
But the experience.
He's been around a little bit, and he could provide some veteran leadership. So basically, you had 2 guys last year who had any kind of experience on the offensive line. It was Flowers and it was Ted Karras. Well, Ted Karras went back to New England as a free agent because he had only been signed to a 1-year deal. So that couldn't be helped, because the Dolphins actually were looking to upgrade because they thought Karras was serviceable but nothing special. And then, but the Flowers move, again, you're not going to tell me, I mean, unless he was a massively disruptive force in the locker room, which I have not heard or read.
That's not it.
I don't for $2 million. I don't get. Once the trade was made, I scratched my head a little bit. I was like, okay, I don't get it. Then when the news came out that not only did the Dolphins make the trade, but they paid Washington, what was it, like $6 million of his $10 million salary, then it was like, what? What was that? I honestly don't get it.
No, they were convinced that they were better off going young than him. Obviously, that's the only thing that it can come down to. Now, here's the other equation that I think a lot of people, especially fans, aren't weighing in on. They're not going to hit on all 5 of these guys.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? 2 or 3 of these guys are going to fail. Whether you like it or not, fans or media, nobody hits on 5 linemen.
And especially none of them are top 5. They're not all Penei Sewells. You know what I mean? It's not like you picked 5 guys inside the top 10 and you're saying, well, these are can't miss guys or anything like that. So that's the other thing. Let's prepare for failure, because I just said this, if he hits on all 5, you might as well sign Chris Greer to a 15-year contract and make sure he dies in that front office as a Dolphin GM, because no one drafts 5 linemen past the second round and on, most of those guys except for Jackson, and you're going to hit on all of them. Come on, dude. These are the 2 things that I don't think we're weighing in a lot of, the amount of youth that they're going with on the front, and for sure there's going to be a couple guys that are going to fail. I mean,
no, absolutely, no question. And it's a lot. It's nothing. It's not a reflection on the Dolphins scouting department. That's the law of averages in the NFL. The one thing though is you don't want to have missed on either Austin Jackson, because he was a first round pick, and even though maybe it's not relevant, but that's also the first round pick you got when you dumped Minka because you couldn't make it work here. So
no, you got to hit on that one. That one
you
got to hit
on that one, and you got to hit on Liam Eichenberg because you gave up a 2022 third round pick to move up 8 spots. And I would almost say that, look, if he becomes a perennial Pro Bowl selection down the line, it won't matter. But the fact that right now it's looking like he's not going to be starting as a rookie after you gave up that third round pick for next year to move up to get him, that's not a good look.
Yeah, no, I know. Well, it didn't help that he got injured too, so that kind of set him back.
Yeah, but that's a small part of it. Even the injury aside, I haven't seen him really like grab hold and assert himself and look like, oh, this is a guy who needs to be in the starting lineup.
Well, it's hard to assert yourself when they first plug you into an unfamiliar spot. If you would have plugged him into a familiar spot right from the get-go, then yeah, you're fine. But if you're going to put him on the right side where he's not used to it, then all of a sudden there's no way any of us do anything confidently. Like you tell me, all right, I'm going to cut your hair and I'm going to put you on ABC World News tonight. Huh? What? You know what I'm saying? And so all of a sudden I'm like, no, dude, that's not where I belong. That's not who I am. But no, we need you there. You got to do it tonight. So I'm going to look like a freaking disaster tonight, with the ABC World News. So I got to give him a little bit of a break there, because hell, you're the one that also came on and told us they're putting him somewhere where he's not comfortable, the left side. This is not what his normal is. He's got to relearn everything. And so hard to be confident in that area. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's fair. But then the argument could be made you better have some kind of strong conviction on him and his long-term future. If again, you're going to surrender a future third-round pick for a guy who you're figuring is going to have growing pains. By the way, it's moving from left tackle Notre Dame to the right side, if that's the projection. And then they have
but the logic behind it, Alan, is not bad, because you've got 4 rookies already on the damn line. So it's like, are we going to put a 5th rookie on the right side? Jesse's better suited at the moment. Let's bring him along slowly. Maybe we can bring him on the left side to compete a little bit, get him also trained for guard at that side just in case. So I kind of understand the method behind the madness of having at least Jesse start on the right side. So you do have some experience, to counter what I was talking about having all this damn youth on the line. So I understand why Eichenberg isn't starting right away, and maybe they want to ease him into it. I understand, at least.
No, and I said that from the beginning when it was thrown to me that Eichenberg's an instant starter, and to me, my point right along was you wouldn't want to have that many rookies or second-year players in your starting offensive line. No, to me, Jesse Davis as the starting right tackle made sense all along, and he's a guy who I understand is not splashy. He came into the league as an undrafted free agent, but he's solid and he's dependable, and right now he's probably the best lineman on that team, even though I get the feeling Robert Hunt at some point is going to surpass him, because he's the one guy of all the young offensive linemen who we're talking about. If you were to ask me which one do I think has the highest ceiling, is going to become a stud the quickest, to me, clearly it's Robert Hunt.
Okay. And he's a 2nd round pick, right?
Correct.
Correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a pretty high pick also with him. All right. We've talked a lot about the line. What else tonight are you looking forward to? A mistake-free night by Tua?
Not so much mistake free because I as we spoke earlier.
Turnover free. I'm sorry, turnover free. Let me go.
No,
with
but
that.
even turnover free. I could live with this pick against the Bears.
Me too.
To me, I was more wowed and impressed by all the good throws he made. That I want to see more of those. That's what I want to see. Fit the pass into a tight window. Don't be afraid to take a shot downfield, because in practice we're seeing again a lot of short throws. I want to see them attack down the field a little bit more. So from Tua, what I want to see is more daring throws, if that's how I should put it. If he throws a pick, I can live with it. That to me is part of the process. I would rather he throw the ball downfield way more in 2021, and instead of having 5 picks, he ends up with 11 picks. I can live with that. If the flip side to that is more plays downfield and then more attacking of defenses as opposed to keeping everything short.
I can live with 11 interceptions as long as he throws 35 touchdowns. I can live with that. I'm good.
There you go.
I'm good. 35 and 11. I can live with that. Yeah.
Marino
exactly.
threw 17 picks in 1984. Nobody remembers that number. They remember the 48 touchdowns and the 5,084 yards.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, Marino wasn't afraid to throw it in a tight window. Okay.
No.
I mean, that my favorite throw of his was always when he'd whistle it right by the ear of a DB, right into the hands of a receiver. He would do that. I mean, I've never seen a quarterback do that more often and burn the corner without him looking, and the ball goes right through him. It must have pissed those corners off for so many years. Like, damn, I could have caught that ball. It went right by me, right into Duper's hands, right into Clayton's hands, whoever was there. Who have you been impressed with the most? Who has made the most growth for you in training camp so far?
The most growth. That's interesting. My mind is jumbled here right now. I'll give you one guy who's like really.
The anti-vaxxer has really stepped forward, bro.
But he there was something there. Like you could tell there was something there last year. I can't.
I agree. But that mofo put a stamp on it so far. Like he's like, hey, I was no flash in the pan. No, I'm here, bro. I'm the number 2 guy, and you can use me. And Tua has developed a nice rapport with him. I thought he's a guy that's really stepped forward. But you go ahead because you're there every day.
No, and I would tell you, he's not far behind Gesicki at all. If he even is at all behind. But yeah, no, I've been very, very impressed with him. Kirk Merritt, I mean, this is kind of a long shot name, but that dude's been not doing nothing but making plays lately. Whether does he have a shot at making the 53 on that really crowded wide receiver group, which is becoming less crowded because now Alan Hearns is on IR. Lynn Bowden's going to be out for a couple of weeks, I would imagine.
Albert Wilson has kind of hurt whatever he did has kind of hurt him because the unreliable label has reappeared now again for him, unfortunately.
No, it has, but dude looks so good early in camp, and that so the Dolphins are going to have to weigh this. I mean, he looked really good early in camp, and you put him with Waddle and Will Fuller when he finally gets back on the field, and after he serves a suspension, that's a lot of speed they can put on the field at one time if they want to go that route. But Kirk Merritt's a guy who's been very, very impressive. You mentioned Savon Ahmed earlier before I started having the audio issues. Yeah, that dude's looked really good. And right now he's looking like a guy who could put himself in position to supplant Gaskin as the guy getting the most touches at running back because he's the one who makes the most things happen. Now, having said that, he had by far the best game of any running back against the Bears last Saturday. But we also need to point out that his work came against the Bears' backup defense, whereas Gaskin and Malcolm Brown operated against the Bears' frontline defensive players. And obviously there's a big gap. Can Ahmed do the same against frontline players? Yeah, probably, because I think as you mentioned, he's got the most explosiveness of the 3 guys. I think we saw that last year.
There is one issue, and I'd like to ask you about this.
how much do they count on him as a blocker? Because Gaskin is clearly the best blocker out of the group, apparently, and he needs to work a little bit on that. So if he's going to unseat him, how much work does he have to improve on the blocking in your eyes?
Well, let's start with the idea that the number of times the Dolphins asked their running back to pick up a blitzer is not necessarily that high, and I don't think that would be the difference on whether you're the guy who gets the most touches. I think all three are serviceable at picking up blitzers. I don't know that any of them I would say are like great at picking up blitzers. It's actually interesting because the one of the plays in the preseason so far around the NFL that's caught my eye was our good friend Jordan Howard last year completely decleated an oncoming blitzer against New England the first week, put him on the ground. It was a beautiful thing to see. It was like, man, had he done that more of that in Miami, maybe he'd still be here. No, he wouldn't. He wouldn't do that. No, he wouldn't be. But it was very impressive.
He should be able to do that with that body. He should be able to block a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
And the same with Malcolm Brown, though.
Huh?
The same with Malcolm Brown because he's thicker than Gaskin and he's thicker than Ahmed. The thing is, I think in terms of reliability, dependability as a runner, in terms of maximizing what's there on each play, Gaskin is ahead of Ahmed. I think Ahmed is more likely to have some runs where he creates something out of nothing, but he also could create negative situations by trying to do too much on a run, whereas Gaskin is very, very disciplined in his running and is,
Well, in other words, in space, you want Ahmed.
Correct.
Inside a phone booth between the tackles, I want Gaskin because he's better at breaking tackles and his balance. I love Gaskin's balance, dude. He's got great balance going through the hole and blocks and things like that, and people diving at his legs. I don't think the other backs are better than Gaskin at that. Would you say that?
No, that's fair, but I would also tell you that if you look at the analytics and which kind of match what my eyes saw last year, there weren't a whole lot of broken tackles by any of the Dolphin running backs last year. So, and if we're being honest, the Dolphins do not have an elite running back, and again, some of it is by choice. But of the three, again, it becomes a preference of: do you want the safe guy, who's going to get you the most that he can get on every run, but maybe not more, or the guy who's got the higher ceiling but the lower floor on running plays.
Right.
So,
but again, it's a nice little tandem, and we'll see how this ends up working out. But there's definitely what's it called? An opportunity for all these guys to be a part of the offense. All right, one more thing. I read where the Cowboys people are inquiring about Connor McGovern, the guard, and they're hesitant on trading him and all that kind of stuff. Do you see the Dolphins at all trying to make a trade for any other offensive lineman, or do you expect them to be active once the cuts start happening?
I would be tempted to think that they're going to scour the waiver wire like crazy after the cuts are made to see what's out there. I think they're in much better shape in the interior of the offensive line than they are outside, which kind of matches, again, what they did with trading for Greg Little. I think their appetite would be more along the lines of flipping a late-round pick to take a shot on a guy as opposed to spending a premium pick. Like, I don't know what the Cowboys would want for Connor McGovern. I can't imagine the 7 would do it, because if it did, then you're upgrading your offensive line, so there'd be no reason not to pursue that. So, but again, what I go back to is the pattern of this team. Again, my feeling is they would be more likely to see who's going to get cut in the cuts to 53, see if a team is willing to deal somebody with a high ceiling who could help out more so at tackle than inside for a late round pick.
There you go. Follow him on Twitter at Poupart NFL. What are you doing today to cover the game so folks can check you out on Twitter and at Sports Illustrated, my friend?
Man, I'll be all over it. I'm already over it. I already put up 13 players to watch for the game. Came up with 13 the first time. It turned out to be 13, and whatever symbolic number if you're covering the Miami Dolphins, right, Dan Marino? Earlier today, I continued. I've been doing a countdown of the 100 greatest plays in Dolphin history. Today was number 22 because it coincides with the number of days left of the regular season. I got part 2 of a mailbag going up in about 5 minutes, and there'll be, game coverage. You want it, you got it. I'll be all over the place, starting with like the lineup notes at about 5:30ish, I should say. Halftime highlights and lowlights, full game halftime and lowlights, takeaways right after the game. I'll be all over it.
And you better be all over it, following him on Twitter at PoopArtNFL and catch his work there at Sports Illustrated. This is the Sports Grill Miami Dolphins Insider Report. And remember, we'll be broadcasting live from Sports Grill all season long for our Dolphins pre- and post-game shows at the Miami Lakes location, right off the Palmetto and 154th on the west side. And Alan may be visiting us sometimes on the road games there also. And we'll be at the Bird Road and 114th location also for the other half of the season. Alan, enjoy the game, my brother. Thank you for the insight, my man. You're a stud. Appreciate you.
You got it, Big O.
You got it. There you go.
Sports fans love a place with great food, cold drinks, and TVs everywhere. That's why sports fans love Sports Grill and their 7 amazing locations. Check out the Bird Road location at 11481 Southwest 40th Street in the back corner of the West Bird Shopping Center. Sports Grill is also now offering some great employment opportunities. All kinds of positions are now available, from kitchen to hosting. Call for more information at 305-485-8845. From wraps to salads to amazingly delicious specialty dishes, Sports Grill is the home to the legendary special grilled wings. Since 1987, Sports Grill, good food, good drink, and good friends.
All righty. We thank him. We thank, of course, Alan Poupar is always joining us here on a beautiful Saturday. Thank you all for tuning in. We appreciate it immensely. I'm looking forward to tonight, man. Jalen Phillips should play tonight. Hopefully, this will also start to create a nice little attack from the Dolphins at not just defensive end, but linebacker, because he's going to play both. He's going to be used all over the place. But really, because you're multiple, the fact that Agba is going to be a motivated sumbitch. I mean, he had 9 sacks last year. He's going to want more than that. He's playing for a contract. Personally, I hope Agba kicks ass, because that's one less guy you have to worry about for the future. He's still young, and if he proves that last year was not a fluke and he does it again, then all of a sudden now you can sign him to a long-term deal, and then Jalen Phillips obviously can do his thing. Van Ginkel, you start adding Seiler in there, all the different guys that they have. Vince Beagle should help out once he comes back completely from that knee injury. There are several guys that they're going to have that are going to be able to attack and get after the quarterback. But Jalen Phillips is the most important one, because him and Agba can create a tandem that is just absolutely scary. And then you throw in Van Ginkel, and that trifecta right there should be able to open it up for others to go and have some success, whether it's Christian Wilkins, whether it's Seiler, any of the other guys. Jerome Baker also got his share of sacks last year. You're going to be able to send him quite a bit too. So I love the fact that the Dolphins have a ton of potential when it comes to the pass rush this year. And they've developed a lot of these young guys, and Jalen Phillips has got to be the guy that leads the way. I'm looking forward to the Jalen Phillips debut tonight. Eric Rowe, Javon Holland versus, of course, Kyle Pitts, the guy that a lot of us wanted. He was kind of controlled pretty much in the practices by Rowe and company. But I want to see Holland also, who has been, he's looked like a ball hawk so far in practice. I want to see him also have to deal with some of that tonight, have to deal with some of the coverages. Obviously, he's got to develop into that captain back there in that secondary. But I'm interested, because obviously Eric Rowe, we know, can do the job, but he's not the long-term answer. He's kind of the fill-in guy for now until you find that guy. And Javon Holland is going to be
he's going to have to handle some of those responsibilities that Eric Rowe has handled, throughout the first couple of years here with the Miami Dolphins. But that should be a lot of fun. X should play tonight, which again, that ends up making your defense that much more dominant because you're wiping out that side of the field with that guy. And then you've got Byron and you've got, Javon out there. All of a sudden, you've got more ball hawks than ever now on this team. Van Ginkel finds his way to be around the ball somehow or another. I can't wait till the Brandon Jones kids gets healthy because I like what I saw from him. He seems to have a little bit of knack of that. Obviously, X is a badass. Javon Holland's looking like he's going to grow into a badass. There's a lot of potential and a lot of things to look at for the Dolphins on the defensive side of the ball that I cannot wait for tonight when they take the field against the Falcons. Should be a lot of fun. Tua, if it's a dress rehearsal and you're going to play a half, I'd like to stay away from the turnover this week. And I think he will. But I also want to see a touchdown drive or two here in this game. I want to see you guys get in a groove, and I'd love to see some success on the line and in the running game because ultimately that's what's going to, help Tua in this development. What I don't want is that Tua has to rely on boots and waggles, and you've got to try to always change the launch point for him because you're trying to throw off the D-line because the O-line can't give you the time you need in a natural pocket. So you've got to try to start moving the pocket and keep the defense guessing. You know what I mean? Or you've got to go to max protection. So now you have fewer receivers out on the field, and then that makes it that much harder for the quarterback to do his job. You know what I'm saying? So it's imperative that the offensive line and the running game have some success because then that loosens everything up. All right. It doesn't have the linebackers on their toes and ready to go and ready to cheat because they know that they can't run the ball. And so, all right, let's make life impossible for Tua. So it's really important that you start to see some kind of success on that O-line and in the running game too for tonight. A lot of things to look forward to. Let me see what we got here on the chat board, by the way, because it has been very active here on the chat board. Appreciate all of you out there. See Bromar Smellian. I see Scott Jackson. Let's see. What else do we have here? Rosendo says, good morning, Big O. Happy Saturday and have a peaceful weekend, Big O Nation. Quote of the day, make time for a little thing that brings you joy today. There you go. I like it. Scott Jackson says, Pro Bowl talent for Phillips, which we only have X. Yeah. Yep. You're right. Well, maybe. Who knows? There might be, Van Ginkel could turn into a Pro Bowler. You never know. Maybe Javon Holland is a future Pro Bowler. Maybe Tua's a future Pro Bowler. Maybe Mike Gesicki's a future Pro Bowler. You never know, man. There might be a couple of other guys that could develop into Pro Bowlers. We'll see. We'll see. Let's see. ABAB says you need to bring in free agents for O-line, not draft them. You can't live off of buying stuff. I agree with you if your team is pretty close to complete and you need one or two pieces and one of them happens to be on the O-line, I get it. But you can't go buying an entire line or buying two or three guys. That'll cripple your cap. And eventually you're going to have to pay your quarterback down the line. So you've got to find a way to draft guys, develop them, and have them on the cheap for the first 4 to 5 years. It is very important that you hit on some draft picks. So hopefully they'll hit on 2 or 3 of these 5 guys that they've got in as draft picks. Miami waited too long with Karras while they were trying to get New England's other center, and Karras said, I'm going back to New England. Karras is not the answer, my brother. I'm sorry, Scott. You and I are completely on different planets. I'm not crying about Ted Karras not being here. A serviceable player? No, you got to do better than serviceable. So, no. If you're telling me that they lost a Pro Bowl center, that's fine, but they didn't lose a Pro Bowl center. Carnell World is in. Radically is in. It says, have a second chance player trades work out for the Dolphins. Rosen Tennessee offensive tackle. Sometimes you get a guy and you end up bringing him in and he ends up Vince Beagle. You got him from the Saints, right? They discarded him. You got him for what's this guy's name? Kiko Alonso, and he ends up working out for you. So sometimes you can get somebody else's trash and make it into a treasure. Seiler was on a practice squad, and you got him. He wasn't good enough to make their roster, and yet he's an impactful player here. Right? Eric Rowe was inconsistent as a corner. They figured out a role, and they made him cover tight ends here. You see what I mean? So sometimes you can get players that didn't work out somewhere else or aren't working out or are backups or they're on practice squads, and then you find a role for them here, and they're productive. Nick Needham was off the scrap heap, and they've made him into a decent corner. So it is possible to get guys off of somebody else's roster, and then all of a sudden they do turn, somebody else's trash turns into your treasure. Now, more often than not, it doesn't work out. But what would you rather do, radically? Not try? So you don't try to get a Rondé Gadsden from the Arena League. You don't try to get Mark Dixon from the CFL. That's the CFL. Radically, he wasn't good enough to be in the NFL. Okay? They had a defensive end. I don't know if you know him, but they got him from the CFL because he wasn't good enough to make the Giants. So what you're saying is you don't want them to take any chances on any players because you'll never find those kind of players. They've found great players. They've found really good players. They've found decent players. They've found serviceable players. They've found rotational players. Lifford Hobley came from the scrubs. Remember, radically, when you're on this show, you're talking to a guy that knows the Dolphin history. So when you pull some question out of your ass, oh, well, hey, why even try? And you pull 2 failures, I can then pull out a bunch of success stories. Okay? Wrong host, dude. Go do it somewhere else. That's lazy-ass thinking. You know what that is? That's a second-guessing lazy fan, radically. That's what you just did there. Lazy. Just like that dude yesterday. Oh, well, Kansas City fixed their line. And it's like, no, Kansas City did not have 5 young linemen or 4 on their line. That's not what they're doing. They paid some money. They drafted some high guys, some high picks. That's what they did. And they had guys already that were there established, trying to fix their line. So, second chance players work out all the freaking time, dude. But you're going to fail a lot too. But what are you supposed to do? Not try? That doesn't make any sense. You try, man. You keep trying. By the way, how did that Drew Brees thing work out for the Saints? Dolphins tried to get him. Second chance. Wasn't good enough for San Diego because they got Phillip Rivers, and they ended up getting themselves a Hall of Famer. Miami almost got him, but that's a second chance player you try to get. Second chance players, you got to try to find players anywhere and everywhere. Somebody's failure, some guy in another league, some guy in an arena league, it doesn't matter. Kurt Warner was bagging groceries, dude. He was playing in the arena league. So what, you don't try? So if you don't try, you don't get a Super Bowl, Rams. It's lazy take, bro. Really lazy take. Let's see. More and more, Greer is tough on contracts, and days of long-term contracts for the Dolphins are over. Overrated, expendable contracts where players are not exceeding to their expectations are over. Derek Sibley says, Big O, good morning. I'm going to the mall today in Rochester, Minnesota, and will be wearing my Tua jersey. Fins up. Nice. Rochester, what is it? Oh, no. What is it? Montana? Is that what that is? Rochester? I thought Rochester was New York, man, where Lisa's at. Where is Lisa? I don't see her on the board here. Pulisic says, how can a coaching staff that seems to do so well with everything be so clueless with the O-line? How you put this in the wrong spot? That's atrocious. Pulisic, you're already giving up on the line? You haven't even given him a chance to develop at all. You haven't even given him a chance to fail. Some of you out there, man. Defiant needs Incognito's attitude on the O-line. As long as they're not committing crimes or going crazy, yeah, I'm with you. Nothing wrong with a little attitude on the line. Let's see. Lamarlo Shepard says, with the receivers tonight, pretty sure no one is going to be open tonight deep, so not going to see those shots. You never know. You never know, my friend. It could happen. They need to win, even if it doesn't count. Winning is contagious. They've got to finish strong. Well, I don't care about winning in the preseason. I just care about them playing well in the first half, because you have no control in the second half when all the scrubberinis are playing how the game is going to end. The Dolphins won, Susie, last week. You do know that, right? They won last week. They dominated that first half. That's all that counted. Would you count the second half with all the scrubs? I believe it was 13-3, correct? Am I right or am I wrong here, ladies and gentlemen? Was it not 13-3 at halftime? I can look it up here. I'll look it up here just for Susie, just to like make her feel good so she doesn't overreact about all of this. Because, winning is contagious, she says. But she counted the players that aren't even going to be on the roster in the second half practically. So let me look at the Dolphins Bears, and it was 13-3 at halftime, Susie. When they had their starters and Miami had their starters most of the half. Right? Because the backup quarterback played in the second quarter. So I'm just saying, 13-3 was halftime, Susie. You might want to calm down a little bit there. Because if you count the second half, I feel sorry for you, Susie. Those aren't the players you want to worry about. You want to worry about the guys in the first half, and they dominated. They got 2 first downs in that first half. 2. No Jalen, no X. 2. Ray says, howdy-o, everybody. I have a feeling next week the starters will play more since there's an extra week before the season. You could be right. You could be right. What's cracking, Big O? I'm ready for some football, Joseph Rodriguez says. I agree with you, my man. Fawn Stream 75 says, Adam Shaheen is looking good. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. The dude's catching pretty much everything in sight. Irving Figueroa says he's got underrated athletic ability, and he's talking about Shaheen, I think. Gotavailoa puts Cam Wake. Yes, I know that, but, what's it called? Radically doesn't know about Cam Wake. Radically doesn't keep up with, like, the facts. Emilio El Pulpo. But it's just Pulpo. Can't wait to see the play of the O-line tonight. Omar yesterday got me depressed with his Tua getting hurt O-line failure. Yeah, I don't get that with Omar. He's given up on the line. He's already afraid that Tua's going to blow out a shoulder, and it's like, damn, dude. Like, would you just pile in a ton of cold water and ice on my ass for the season? Alex Rodriguez is what's up. Thank you, sir. Thank you all. Remember, please smash the hell out of the like button. Radically says, historically, I agree with you, Big O, about second chance players. I was looking at present Dolphin leadership, second chance players. Hopefully this new trade works out. Dude, I just told you right now, there's players on the team that are discarded from other places. I just gave you the facts now. I gave you history and I gave you the present. I just told you about Vince Beagle. I just told you about Seiler. I just told you about Nick Needham. I just told you about Eric Rowe.
You got wax in your ears? This team has actually done an exceptional job of finding other players on other teams and making them useful for their team. Remember, Salvon Ahmed was on somebody else's roster. Oh, but Adam Shaheen. The Chicago Bears had 87 tight ends. And they went and traded for Shaheen and gave up nothing. And he's been very productive. Oh, man. Emmanuel Ogbah. Yeah, that's not a second chance player you want, right? Even Lawson, they got production out of Lawson, then traded him to get McKinney to help out their run defense. I mean, do I need to continue? I haven't given up on the O-line, Miami Kid Jay says, but the moment they can't draft better pieces to do it, or they can find a young stud in free agency. Let's just give it some time, folks. Oh, Mac Hollins, big Irving, thank you. Mac Hollins also is a discard from another team. Wasn't it Philadelphia, I believe? Please, let's bring back Parmalee. Straight out of the UPS. Shula got him right out of UPS. Ball State University, Bernie Parmalee. Can we trade Gesicki for a draft pick since we have Shaheen? Dude, you need depth. They're trying to make the playoffs. You assume that, so you're going to go with Shaheem and Smythe? You wouldn't want to have a two tight end attack? No, man. You're assuming Hunter Long has gotten there. He's not. He's a rookie. Do you remember Gesicki as a rookie? Relax. You can't count on rookies. Some of them will show up and a lot of them won't because it's their first year. They're trying to figure, stuff out. So let's not. No, I'm staying with Gesicki and Shaheem here. No way. Oh, my God, Big O, you're killing it with facts that none of these want Greer fired doesn't know what they want to hear right now. Yeah, I mean, it's just, you got to follow it, man. Dolphins gave up a 2021 7th-round pick for Shaheen. Something tells me that's a steal, right? Who knows, man? Greg Little might turn into something. You got to try. You can't say, oh, I can only draft and free agency signing guys. No, you got to go street free agency. You got to look at you got to scout everybody's practice squad because there's a diamond in the rough there. There's always a couple of those dudes that just have not gotten a fair shake. That happens all the time. Or you're smarter than the other team. Like the Patriots. They keep using Rowe at corner. And then the guy that coached the defense goes, no. I like Rowe, but I don't want him at corner. I want him covering tight ends. And so they found a role for him that New England couldn't find. I mean, it's, folks, they got a front office. You lose sight of there's five young linemen that they're trying to develop, which is impossible. It's what they're trying to do is really, really hard, bro. Okay. Then you also got to realize that you're not going to hit on all 5 of them too. And then here's the other thing that I want people to realize. I'm trying to bring realism to all of this. You're ahead on the rebuild. You're way ahead on the rebuild. Don't get way ahead of yourself expecting everything to happen overnight because you've been spoiled that they won 10 games last year. That's the problem. There's a lot of you spoiled Dolphin fans right now, which, after the last 20, 25 years, how in the hell do you get spoiled? But you assume that this thing is done really easy. What Greer and Flo have done is absolutely, simply amazing. That's what you got. Don't lose sight that in 2 years they turned it into a winner. And we're already assuming playoffs, which, and I'm as guilty as you guys of that, but I'm also realistic to know that there's going to be some, it's kind of like crypto. You'll see a parabolic rise. Don't buy on the parabolic rise. Wait for a little bit of consolidation. A friend of mine the other day on Twitter was like, hey, Cardano slipped a little bit. And I said, hey, slow down. There'll be consolidations on parabolic moves. So we have to expect some things to actually happen. And some of them are all 5 draft picks on the line. They're not going to hit on them. Developing this entire offensive line, 4 to 5 young guys with a journeyman and Jesse Davis. Dude, you know how hard that is? Nobody's doing that in the NFL. And then I want to remind you, they are way ahead on the rebuild right now. And we seem to be getting way ahead of ourselves. I get it. Telling you to have patience is really tough as a Dolphins fan after the last 25 years. But I want you to be realistic about what's going on. That's all I'm saying. Okay? The defense is built differently than any of the other teams right now. They could be ahead of their era. Maybe. We'll see. Tom Not Available says, what about J.B. Brown? He's a good corner. J.B. Brown, Jerry Wilson, Judson. Let's see. Let's just, Paul Langford. You want to, let's, Jamar Fletcher. Let's just keep talking about bad Dolphin corners. Wasn't J.B. Brown like a 12th round pick? Big O, I'm looking at the first team offense to score some touchdowns, no field goals. I'm with you there. Yeah, dude, 5-11 to 10-6 is outstanding, and this year looks even better. SM Finn says, keeping it real as always, Big O. Stephen Pensacola, thank you, sir. Thank you. Ryan AP says, facts. After a complete teardown of roster and coaches, I'm impressed with what this organization is turning into. That's because it's a real fucking organization. That's why. We have a real football team now. We have a real coaching staff. We have a real front office now. But damn, dude, it's not a bunch of genies. I'm sorry. It's not Chris Greer dressed in purple like Will Smith and offensive line. Outstanding. Here we go. And that's it. That's not going to happen. It's just not. It's been almost genie-like, this turnaround. It feels like we're rubbing a lamp right now because, damn, this thing has gone by quick. That's the other thing. This rebuild's gone by super fast. These 2 years have been actually enjoyable. After the 0-7 start, it's been fun ever since. Right? Because you're 15-10 since that spot. After 0-7, you're 15-10. Big picture, folks. Big picture. Take it easy, man. Okay? Everything will be all right. It'll all work out. Do I get in trouble if I make the sound of a Hispanic? I'm all right with that. Okay, because baseball announcers, they have trouble doing other accents. They're not supposed to. So I just want to make sure I don't get in trouble for doing something like talking like decent like that. Okay, Big O, how much Cardano would you pay for an all-pro O tackle right now? I'm not sharing my Cardano. I trust Chris Greer to find an offensive line. Don't with my Cardano, all right, bro? I'm not giving my Cardano. I'm not giving my VeChain. I'm not giving my Ethereum. I'm not giving my Bitcoin. And I'm certainly not giving my Polygon, which, by the way, exploded again last night. It was like a 160 or whatever it is. Polygon is for 170. I don't know what it is. It's, man, smoking right now.
Polygon and Cardano. Wow. Freaking awesome. Don't get me started on the crypto. It is good. It is so good. All right, folks, we're going to wrap it up here on the program. Enjoy the game tonight. We will see you guys on Monday. Hopefully we'll have plenty of stuff to talk about. Omar Kelly will join us on Monday to recap what went on tonight with the Atlanta Falcons. Hopefully no injuries. Hopefully a lot of productivity. Hopefully a lot of improvement. And for Susie, I hope they win the first half because Susie worries about the fourth quarter with the scrubs, and I don't care about that part. Susie, they're 1-0 on the preseason. Calm down. They kicked ass last week. If you look at, again, macro, not micro, okay? Don't look at the whole game because the whole game doesn't matter. Look at that first half. It was actually a beautiful first half. And Tua should have thrown a touchdown. So it should have been more than 13-3. Should have been 20. Or actually 14, I'm sorry. 17-3. Should have had 4 more points because they did get a field goal out of it. Okay? So relax. Relax. Things are good. It's not so bad. Actually, things that are going on around the world are way worse than what's going on with the Dolphins. Life with the Dolphins is good right now. It's improving year in and year out. Why don't you do this? Everybody overreacted the first year, right? I was probably one of the very few overreacting and looking forward to that first year. And there was panic and panic and panic as 0-7 built on. But in that 0-7, they got better and better and better. Even losing, they were playing better and better and better, and then they started to win. And what you thought was going to be a nightmare season because you created that image in your head, it turned out to be actually an entertaining season because the second half they went 5-4, and they ended the Patriots dynasty. How does that first season not end up awesome? And then you've got a second season, and they go and win 10 games, something none of us really thought of. So why are we now building, some of us Dolphin fans, why are we building up so much negativity to ourselves? Why are we creating the same bullshit that we've done in the past when the guys that are in charge keep giving us great results? Think about that. Think about what's happened the first 2 seasons. And think about all the BS and the things that people write and they say. We had all the idiots about tanking and tanking and tanking, and they were never, ever tanking. And on this show, we kept telling you they were never tanking. They were trying to win with young people because this is what they, again, what have I been talking about? The line. They want to develop young. They want to develop their own. That's what they believe in their drafting. They believe in their player development. And by the way, for you, radically, the second chances, I guess they do have player development. Right? Okay? So, again, please take a step back. Stop being so negative about all of this. The results have been incredibly positive the first 2 years. Why can't we have another positive year? Why can't it be that you have a good football team? Why can't it be that you have an up-and-coming great organization now? They've always been great on the business side with Tom Garfinkel and company. Why can't it be that now the football people got their shit straight? Because that's what they've proven the first 2 years. So why are we creating all this FUD now? Fear, uncertainty, doubt. Why? When you should be emboldened, you should be feeling super positive about the Dolphins because the first 2 years, that's what they've proven to you. How can you can overcome the 0-7 adversity of tearing down the entire team to then go 5-4 and the coach never lost his team? Are you effing kidding me? That never happens in a Dolphin uniform. I'm used to watching players tune out the damn coach. Whether it's Gase, whether it's Cam Cameron, whether it's Dave Wanstead, whoever. I'm used to watching them get tuned out. So please, look at the track record. Look at the results.
Don't go micro every week and worry about what's going on every single day like it's the end-all be-all. Trust the process because there actually is one. And where they start is not where they finish. Every year. They didn't start out well last year. Had to figure out the quarterbacks, this and that. They got better as the year went on. That's your track record. Stop thinking about what happened with Gase. Stop thinking about what happened with Cam or Tony Sperano or Dave Wanstead or Jimmy Johnson telling you that you're going to be special. You got to leave all those bad memories behind. Why? It's the Etch-a-Sketch, right? Just shake it, bro. Shake it. Shake it like a Polaroid picture. Erase it. Leave it anew. What's going on here is nothing but positive. Nothing but positive. Don't let all the other bullshit get in your mind. Not worth it, man. Not worth it. And not accurate. That's the other thing. I'm done. I'm history. I'm in the archives. I'm going to enjoy myself a good afternoon and a little Dolphins football tonight. Hopefully Inter Miami gets the win. Hopefully the Marlins break their losing streak. Little South Florida magic tonight. I love you all. I appreciate you all. Reach out to us on Twitter at Big O Show. Follow us there. Subscribe. Hit the smash. Please smash the hell out of the like button. It is incredibly important that you do that. All right? You guys are awesome. Be safe out there. Go Dolphins.
There's many ways to support our program, from subscribing and liking the show to visiting our terrific sponsors. Another way is using Cash App. If you would like to donate to the show and help us grow, download Cash App and search Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. We appreciate your support as we continue to build the best sports show on the planet for South Florida sports fans. Support the Big O Show by using Cash App and donate to Cash Big O Show.